This is Most Julius here with YAG Radio. I have a very, very special guest in the building today. I want to welcome Ricco to the show. How you doing today, brother?
Hey, yo, I'm good, man. I'm good, man. Thank you for having me.
Uh, Most definitely, man. I've been looking forward to this, and definitely thank you for coming to spend your time with us for today. So I want to first of all tell my listeners the reason why I wanted you to come on. Now, I wanted to hear your insight on high value and low value, the whole conversation, because I believe there are two different types of relationships you can have with people. They're either going to add value to your life or they're either going to be toxic for you. And having toxic people in your life stops you from being your best version of yourself. So that's exactly why I wanted to come have your insight shared with us today. So I'm going to get right into the first question. What is your definition of a high value man?
And I like the way you worded that. I appreciate that. Definitely a lot of different conversations. Shout out to the late, great Kevin Samuels, of course. He didn't make up the term, of course, but I think he brought light and popularity to the term.
Right.
And as far as value and things like that, that's too easily argued, right? So I tend to like to use the word quality.
Quality.
Right. In my content, I typically use highest quality version of oneself. Um, interchangeable. We all know what the term value means, right? But to answer your question, my definition of high value or high quality is, for one, somebody that puts the main thing. If we're talking about men, because my content is mostly to help men become the highest quality version of themselves possible. Right. I think a high quality man is someone who, for one, understands they hold themselves accountable to the highest standards of living, right, not the low acceptable guidelines. They're always striving to be better, self-improvement. They understand, priorities, and they put the main thing. Right. You know what I mean? They understand that there's always room for growth. It's a lifetime process, right, and they put that first. Other than God or whoever you choose to believe in as your higher power, I happen to call it God in the universe. Right. Other than that, and your health, your purpose comes first, and you're always striving to improve.
Right, most definitely, most definitely. So that brings me right in. Question number two. I know you say you mostly do your content for men. So what is the mantra for high value men of 2023?
Oh, of course, 100% is accountability, baby. You know what I mean? Like, we can't, and I'm gonna be very specific with that. It's accountability, but number one, a high value, high quality man understands that it starts and ends with him. So we can't hold anybody else accountable if we can't hold ourselves accountable.
Most definitely.
And forgive me, I don't want to disrespect your platform. Can we talk freely on here, or do I have to censor myself?
Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
Okay, so are we talking freely? Accountability for men, if you want to ever consider yourself high quality, is you have to also hold yourself accountable for your dick control is number one, right? You have to be accountable for, how you speak, how you carry yourself, how you dress, your image, how you present yourself to the world, because that is important. As you know, with black men, especially the black community, we're one of the only communities that are judged as a monolith. Right. You know what I mean? Other ethnicities have the luxury of, when they do something out of the ordinary, they judge the person. With our culture, they judge the culture. Right. So in order to, we got to hold ourselves accountable. And I'm not without fault. I'm not saying that I'm perfect. The reason why I can speak on this is because I've made so many mistakes in my life, right, and I've grown and I've been able to hold myself accountable. But at the end of the day, it starts and ends with accountability. And you can't hold anybody else accountable. You can't hold a woman accountable if you can't hold yourself accountable. Right. So that's the mantra. Accountability, number one. Okay, and personal growth, number two.
All right, so that brings me into question number three. We have, why do you think most women, I would say of a low quality woman, they can't handle being held responsible or accountable for their action and their words?
That's a great question, my friend. I would say, number one, are we referring to Western, like women in the Western society, I would imagine, right? Women in the Western society, it starts from us being children. You know what I mean? The little sayings, women are made of sugar, little girls are made of sugar and spice and everything nice, right? And, men are from Mars, which are aliens. Women are from Venus, right? The goddess of beauty. And even fathers, I don't have any children, but I know a lot of them. They openly say, my daughter has the golden key. She can always come back home if she needs to.
Right.
You know, the way the infrastructure of the United States is set up, the rules, the laws are set up, that women could be bailed out for a lot of their mistakes, right? So it's, and then on top of that, growing up, let's be real, when you were a little kid, when you were a younger man, we felt that we had to tell a woman whatever she wanted to hear. You know, if you listen to the music back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, you know, so I'll do what your man won't do. And it's a, you know, we were programmed and geared to lie to women and not really hold them accountable, right? So comedians make a lot of jokes about it. You know, they say things like, you know, you can't tell your wife the truth. You know, honey, how do I look in this outfit? And you know, things like that. So the biggest reason why it's hard for women to be held accountable is because they're not used to it. To be fair to them, you know, if we weren't used to something and all of a sudden it was exposed to us for the first time, but yet only this one group of people are doing this one thing, but the rest of the world is telling me what I want to hear and not doing anything else. I apologize. Let me put my phone on do not disturb so these messages don't come through.
Oh, no problem.
There we go. Okay. Let me go up. We back on? There we go. Okay. So we wouldn't be used to it either. You understand what I'm saying? So they have, you know, they haven't really been exposed. And as of the last 10 years, it's only, YouTube is only, you know, slowly begun to expose and pull back the curtain a little bit of the ills of female nature. Women are great. Women are needed. Women are important. Right. But everyone has their faults. And up until recently, we've all heard that men ain't shit. We've all heard that. We've all heard deadbeat dad, as if there's no such thing as a mother that is not good. Right. So up until recently, all this heavy bombardment of exposing, you know, what really goes on out there. You know, to be fair to women, it can be a little overwhelming. Like, wait a minute, I've never heard this. So because I've never heard this, I'm not used to it. So I think the biggest reason why women aren't able to be held accountable, that's the biggest reason. Another reason are these simps out here that make men's attention so invaluable because they give it away so freely that if a woman is held accountable and you don't do it in a manner and you're not a respectable man and you're holding them accountable, they'll just go get their attention from somewhere else. So that's like the second reason why it's very difficult for women to be held accountable, because men aren't consistent with it, you know, as a whole. Well, I should say men are, but males typically aren't. Like there's a difference between males and men. You know what I mean? Males still try to lie and tell women whatever they want to hear, just to try to get sex from them. A man understands that it's sexier when you're honest. And women still give you the sex. They would just respect you more too. So I think those are the two reasons why accountability is so hard.
All right, I appreciate that. So that brings me right into the next question. So I'm gonna instead of saying value, I'm gonna say quality. What is the difference between what is considered a low quality woman and a high quality woman?
That's an interesting question. I think it starts with the value she puts on her body, right? Her mindset about her body. You know, typically the way a man should feel about his financial resources, his money, his time, a woman should feel that way about her body. Right? She should be very selective. Now, I'm gonna say this just because people could take sound bites and things like that. A woman has the right to do whatever she wants to do with her body. It's her body. She can do whatever she wants to do, just to be clear. But to answer your direct question, the difference between a high quality woman and a low quality woman is typically the same thing in any marketplace, right? What makes anything in the marketplace high quality? If it takes time to create, If it takes time to utilize, it also keeps the quality because it doesn't have a lot of usage attached to it.
Right.
And it has a very low barrier, very high rather, barrier of entry. Like what would a Bentley be if everybody could afford one?
Right.
Right. What makes the VIP section in any establishment so alluring? You know, I have a saying that I tell women all the time: be the VIP section. You know, be the woman that everyone could potentially see, but not everyone could have access to.
Right.
Right. So a woman that understands her value and shows discipline, because sex is easy for women to get,
right,
but for her to show discipline with who she gives her body to, right, who she spends her time with, and for her not to be so naive to believe she can take advantage of men as long as she doesn't give her body.
right.
To me, that's the difference between a high quality, high value woman and a low value woman. It has very little to do with her money, her education. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I think the biggest confusion is, it's so funny. A lot of times women seem like they want us to date like them sometimes. Like they want us to find importance in what they find important.
Right.
And I had a video about this on my YouTube, that women really don't understand what men truly, truly look for in a woman and a long-term partner. Right. So, you know, there's all over the internet, people have used this analogy. I think it's one of the better ones. Like, how would you feel if you had to be forced to pay full price for a used car?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah,
like, I don't know. Like, let's say, like, I'm into fragrance, right? I don't know your vice. I don't know what you like to buy, purchase, but let's say whatever it is you like to purchase, you told your homeboy, like, hey, look at this thing that I just bought, right? And he's like, yeah, man, this thing was $5,000. And he's like, wait, what? $5,000? Yeah. Well, I got that for free.
Right.
Wait, you got what for free? What you holding in your hand right there? I got it for free. How the hell you get it for free? Which store did you go to? Oh yeah, we went to the Neiman Marcus over there in Newport. Wait, and who you spoke to Tammy? Yeah, Tammy gave it to me for free. First thing you would do is what? You would go back to Neiman Marcus,
going right back there, right?
And wonder, like, hey, what the fuck? Why? Wait, you understand what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, I got you.
And also, what makes a woman high quality to a man in the dating marketplace. Now, I'm not talking about her value to society, her value to her children, her value to her church, the philanthropic efforts she might do, her career. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about simply the value to her significant other, and if that significant other is a man,
right,
is her ability to bring him peace and make his life easier. That elevates her value more than she would even realize. Also knowing what to say to that man, when to say it, and how to say it.
Right.
Right? That's a skill that a lot of women overlook. A lot of women don't understand. Men are judged by the quality of woman they are seen with and they could attract. Women are judged by the quality of man they could get to commit to them. Because like any man will have sex with you, right? Like, especially if we ain't got to tell nobody about it. Let's keep it real. We all have some things we'll take to the grave with us. Let's say some interactions that we won't tell nobody about. But we're not, women are not judged on the kind of man they can get to have sex with, and that's easy.
Right.
The least attractive woman I value. I think I'm a pretty handsome guy. I carry myself well. The least attractive woman in the world can get more sex than I could. It's just easy, right? Because men aren't judged on us giving our bodies away freely. We're not looked at as negative. So we don't care if we have a one-night stand. They don't judge us.
Right.
Now, we're judged on the quality of women we could attract, because if that woman is high quality, she has a shitload of options. But yeah, she's choosing us.
Right.
So because she's choosing us, it makes everyone else like something about that guy must be great, because she can choose anyone she wants. She's choosing him. And that's another reason that, not to go on and on about this question, but I'll tie it in like this. That's another reason why it's kind of hard for a woman who gives her body away so freely, in the same token, to consider herself seriously, logically consider herself high quality, because you can't just say every single guy you have sex with is high value. Like, you gave some charity vagina away. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gave to charity a few times. So, you can't, it's just not, it doesn't make any sense. The only reason why the commodity of gold is so valuable is because it's in short supply. The only reason why Bitcoin at its height was so valuable is because it's in short supply. If everyone could access it, the value goes down. That's economics.
Right, straight down.
Right. So if you could add value to the man's life by making his life simpler, if you could show discipline in your body, because I know women have urges just like men do, but if you can show discipline with who you give your body to and how much you give your body away to different individuals, and you could carry yourself in a respectful manner, not showing off your goods, not always advertising your body away on social media to the public. I don't even date women that are crazy active on social media because you're looking for attention. So those are the ways, in my opinion, that the differences between a woman of high quality, high value, and a woman of low value. If you notice, I ain't say nothing about her degrees. I ain't say nothing about how much money she makes per year. I didn't even say anything about her physical appearance, if you notice. Like, we put too much, especially in the Black community, as a Black man. Let's keep it real. When I was younger, we put way too much emphasis on how good she looks.
Right.
I've dated plenty of bad bitches that was doing bad in life. Got an air mattress and bad kids at home. Dirty dishes in the sink.
Right.
No ice trays. You know what I mean? So, but they're pretty.
Right.
So, we just have to, that goes into us holding ourselves more accountable for our standards and our way of choosing.
Right. So that brings me right into the next question. So let's switch it up. So let's talk about the men that are considered low value. What can these men do to step it up and upgrade their lives?
And I think, wow, that's a good one. I think, and once again, I'm not speaking from a standpoint of being holier than thou.
Right.
To give a little background, I was homeless at 4. You know what I mean? I come from, humble beginnings. I'm from the hood. You know what I mean? I don't say that to glorify it. It's not cool, to be honest. It is what it is. The first thing I think a person can do is understand they can change.
Right.
They can evolve. Because, change is inevitable, but growth is not. So one thing a man has to understand is that, okay, I can grow, right? Things can be different.
Right.
The second thing they have to do is work like crazy on their mindset. You got to change your mindset. And law of association and your environment is always going to win. If you don't have the ability to change your environment by getting around different people, let's say you got toxic family members, if you got homeboys that are not going in the direction you're trying to go. Nowadays with the internet, you can listen to YouTube content, you can listen to books, you can read books. Just engulf yourself with information that supports where you're trying to go.
Right.
That's the number one thing, because everything starts from the inside. There was a saying that says if you work twice as hard on yourself than the task, then you'll be way more successful. Like, work twice as hard on yourself as you do on the task.
Most definitely.
So that's number one thing you got to realize is possible. Number two, you got to change your paradigms, your beliefs by putting new information in your mind. Number three, try to get around people that support where you're trying to go. Just lower your ego, check your ego, keep your confidence, but check your ego.
Right.
And work like hell on yourself. Make your goals a priority. Believe it or not, women don't like being put first. They say they do. That's that cognitive dissonance.
Right.
But if you're always available for a woman, they eventually are going to wonder why you have so much time.
Oh, yeah. And that's another difference between a low value and high value, because a high value is not going to, or high quality is not going to demand too much of your time anyway, because they know you got to put the work in.
She might want it.
Right.
But she'll understand.
Right. Yeah.
She'll understand. And this is crazy thing in the world. I swear to God, if I could bring any woman that I date or any woman I'm involved with, I tell them all the same thing. You will never be number one in my life.
Right.
And that's like crazy to hear, right? Like, and I've even coached men because I do a little coaching sometimes. I'm like, you have to let them know they'll never be number one. And they're like, what do you mean they'll never be number one? I'm like, how could they? Number one, for one, your higher power, God, whoever you believe in, that has to be number one. Number two, your health, right? So she go come before your health. What happens if you lose your job? She go come before that. Your purpose, your go. Like at the end of the day, our masculinity is tied to progression,
right?
Like being able to add value to something, do something. You know what I mean? So, at best, she could hope to be number 4 or 5.
Right. Most definitely, yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
I appreciate that. We want to, keep the time, so we gotta wrap this up. But last but not least, I want to, where can my listeners reach out to your platforms? Like, where can they go?
Absolutely, man. For one, you could follow me on the IG at K_Ricco_Poppy. So that's QUE_RICCO_Poppy, like PAPI. That's the IG. You could also follow the YouTube for more extensive content. That's Ricco the One on YouTube. That's RICCOTHAONE on YouTube. So I really appreciate your followers for listening, man. Appreciate your time. Appreciate you having me, bro.
No doubt, man. I appreciate you, bro.
Absolutely, man. You enjoy the rest of your day.
Oh, you too, man. Thanks.
All right. I'm out.
All right.